Hey guys, it's just me, Kate, and I am here today with our editor, Kyle Sharp. It's his day in the hot seat, so we'll try not to grill him too bad. Before we get started about Kyle, I just want to share with you my quote for the week, which is somebody anonymous as usual, but it was a quote that resonated with me just with everything going on. There's bravery in being soft. And I share this with you because so often our message is much better received when we deliver it softly instead of harshly. And how important it is to pick and choose our words before we say them. There's a lot of power in taking a breath before you say your thoughts out loud. So as you move along in your week and you have situations where you need to address things that are super important, always consider taking the brave route, which is taking a breath and delivering your message softly. So with that, I want to tell you a little bit about Kyle. Hi, Kyle.
Hello, Kate.
How are things in Ohio today? Good?
Good for now, yeah. Rain starting
Good.
tomorrow.
Oh dear, got to get the hay in.
Yeah.
Um, I wanted to share with you guys. So Kyle came to us about a year and a half ago, and I happened upon him not looking for an editor, but was out at the National FFA convention in Indianapolis in November of 2018, and I came upon the Organic Valley booth. And there was this really nice woman there by the name of Rose, who I started speaking to. And all of a sudden, randomly in our conversation, she looked at me and she said, "You know, you really need to connect with Kyle. Kyle Sharp from Ohio. He is an editor and he's a dairy farmer. And, you know, at that point, I had no needs. But I've always been a person that when opportunity knocks, I always at least open the door and take a peek and look and assess and say, is this going to work? So I just handed Rose my card thinking that it would go nowhere. For certain, she was going to lose the business card before she got back into the state of Ohio. And I just said, listen, if he wants to give me a call, we can at least chat and see what he's up to and what he's looking for. So that being said, I think I got an email or was it a call, Kyle?
It was an email initially, yeah.
Email? Okay.
Then we set up a phone call, yeah.
Yeah. So tell us, why did you email me?
Well, yeah, I had a background in agricultural media. So I graduated from Ohio State Ag Communications. I worked for Ohio State, the College of Food, Ag, Environmental Sciences for 5 years, and then was editor of Ohio's Country Journal for 10 years after that. But from 2011 on, I'd been operating the family dairy farm after my dad's health had faded. And we have had a dairy farm south of Columbus here in Ohio since the 1950s. And since 2006, we've been organic through Organic Valley because we're, rotational dairy and all that. And it just made sense for us. And Rose was our Organic Valley rep. And so a couple times a year, she would stop by the farm and just kind of check in and see how things are going and so forth. And so she knew my background in media and so forth. And like anybody who's familiar with the dairy business knows, whether you're organic or conventional for the last 4 years or so, it hasn't exactly been lucrative, unfortunately. And so she knew I was looking to try to do something with my media experience on the side and make some money beyond just the farm. And so when she presented me with the business card from Kate and what they were and just a little bit of a background, I wasn't overly familiar at the time with what it was. And I thought, well, okay, yeah, it can't hurt. So yes, I sent Kate an email and a phone call or so later, and
And
here
here he
I have
is,
been. Yes.
a year and a half later. It's just bliss.
Yeah.
So what do you do for us, Kyle? Tell everybody.
Yeah, I started in January of 2019. I did the Ohio edition, which is the daily email that goes out in Ohio. I mean, Morning Ag Clips has 33 different states that we cover from 26 editions. But I just for a month did Ohio, and then once they saw that I was, going to do it and do a good job at it, they added Indiana and Illinois. So since February 2019, I've been doing the Ohio, Indiana, and Illinois editions on a daily basis, and so that's been going well. I really enjoy getting that information and sharing it with everybody. Then recently, the last couple months, I also branched into more advertising stuff as well. So with that, anybody who has an upcoming event or a product or an association, anything to do with agriculture that, beyond just a press release that's kind of a, one-time splash, if they want to get a consistent message in front of people, then they can consider advertising in Morning Ag Clips, and that's something I can help them with. So anybody who has a desire to get more information about what it is to advertise in the Morning Ag Clips and what the options are and so forth, I would love to hear from them. And my email is Kyle, Kyle, at morningagclips.com. So I still do Ohio, Indiana, Illinois from the editor standpoint, but I'm starting to do more advertising well with Morning Ag Clips.
Yeah, we're excited. I'm really excited because I'm getting tired. So Kyle is helping me out a lot with what my daily things are that I do. But before we close, Kyle, do you have a quote that you want to share with everybody?
I do. I got a quote. I jotted it down there a month or so ago. I really kind of liked it, and it's by Mark Twain, and it says, "Never argue with a fool. Onlookers may not be able to tell the difference." So again, it's never argue with a fool. Onlookers may not be able to tell the difference, and I think that's really a good quote for the kind of the times we're living in, unfortunately, where there's so much polarization on a lot of things, and people are just instant knee-jerk wanting to argue about stuff as opposed to actually listening to what somebody else has to say and giving them a benefit of a doubt and maybe coming to some sort of compromise or agreement or agree to disagree, whatever. But once you jump right in and just feel like you need to argue with somebody right away, you might think they're the fool and that you're the righteous one, but from a distance, anybody who's watching might think you both look rather foolish. So I really like the quote, "Never argue with a fool, because onlookers may not be able to tell the difference."
Yeah, I really like that quote too, Kyle. It kind of goes with what I was saying today about delivering soft.
Yeah.
So there's one other thing I really want to share about Kyle. Both of us share a love of football. And I don't know if any of you caught in his introduction, I think he talked a little bit about how he used to he graduated from Ohio State. And I know personally that he loves Ohio State football. But there's actually a person that we share together that's been in our lives for a while. And I just really want to make sure everybody sees this picture. Kyle, why don't you say who this is? Tell everybody.
Yeah. That's some quarterback person who played for a team up north. I tend to refer to him as Meat Chicken because I can't really say the name as an Ohio State grad. Plus, I had a brother who played on the Ohio State football team for 3 years and a dad who was a walk-on for a year. So a lot of connection with Ohio State football. So there's that team up north and that significant person there who played for that team and maybe in the NFL for a few years since then. I'm not sure, but
he calls him Meat Chicken. I call the guy God. But we share him. He's very important to both of us for very different reasons, right, Kyle?
Oh yeah, I love the quarterbacks. As a former offensive lineman myself, I just love all the glory that the pretty offensive, the quarterbacks get all the time. So.
So anyways, this guy, Tom Brady, is very important to both of us. And I thought I would just share a little bit because I don't know if we got across to you how much Kyle loves football and loves Michigan football at that. I know I'm funny.
Well, obviously it's got to have somebody to beat up on every year, so it's a good thing they're there.
Yeah, right? Okay. And with that, we will end this interview. I will look forward to seeing you all next week with somebody else. I'm not sure who it is next week. We've still got 2 editors. And I actually, coming up on the horizon is all 3 of my kids have expressed an interest in introducing themselves to you as well, since a lot of you see them regularly. So with that, take care, everybody. Thank you, Kyle, for introducing yourself today.
My pleasure.